Sound's been used for thousands of years, everything from chanting to drumming. It's the universal language, vibration, sound, and how it elevates our consciousness through whether it's ecstatic dance, playing drums, getting a gong bath, whatever it might be. And it's really, the idea is to pull you out of your mind, get out of your mind and tap into the bliss of life, tap really into that mystery of the unknown. And once you go through it, you come out the other side, and you hope that you're moved. You lay back into this sensory deprivation experience of sound. You're being bathed in the sound of creation, which is a very mystical experience, and it's a very unknown place for a lot of people, and it does take you out of your mind.
Jewish wordless melody.
Within the repetition of the wordless melody, there are different states of awakening that can be achieved. As you go through it and you become familiar with it, you can just feel yourself being kind of washed over the waves and the waves of undulating sound and rhythm, and you become awakened to a new reality, both in the sound as well as in the silence between the notes. And oftentimes people will use it as a way of entering into a trance state, which is meditative, and you'll notice that I'm starting to kind of move from side to side, right? And part of that in Yiddish is called shuckling, right? It's this movement back and forth, side to side, where you allow yourself to kind of close your eyes and begin to enter into where the melody takes you. I'll share with you one example. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Diddy dum bye bum bye bye. Hi nai. Hi nai 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 nai. Nai nai. Hi nai 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 nai. Hi nai nai nai. Nai 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 nai. Nai nai. Nai 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 nai.
Sufi whirling dervishes.
Essentially, we're not taught to go into any kind of a trance state. It's very much the opposite of being present moment to moment, the moment to moment reality of what's occurring. The listening to the music, the praying, the paying attention to everyone in the group puts you in a kind of connectivity to unity, and you stay in that state. So it's an expanded state of meditation where one's mind is very clear, and yet something else is present, because we're all really praying for God to be there. You're calling out. It's calling out, Allah, we're calling out.
Jewish meditation.
The first pietists, or the first spiritual seekers that we know of in the 2nd century, they would spend either an hour or at least a moment sitting and tarrying and lingering, which to me says that it was meditation, to tarry and to linger, to allow the mind to be emptied of all of its distracting thoughts, to move into a place of emptiness before the fullness of language, the fullness of prayer, the fullness of sound enters into our midst. And so that process of emptying in order to be able to become receptacles to the fullness of the inspiration of the Spirit is something that can also be done through a practice of Jewish meditation, to be able to enter into a deeper state of mystical oneness with the world and with the Creator.
Meditation.
Meditation is a really powerful tool for seeking the state of stillness. We have so much coming at us in our day-to-day life that meditation is that place where we can aim to just be quiet. And it is the state we can get in to be in a state of allowing and receiving and openness and letting things just fall away. It's a way to give our body and our mind a break from these other things. And for most people in the spiritual, who do spiritual work, it is a tool that they use both for letting go of the sort of day-to-day dualistic thinking, and to open themselves up to receive more information. So there's an infinite number of ways to do it, an infinite number of practices that you can do, but ultimately it's the tool for, again, union. It is the settling in and letting things be as they are.
I spoke about meditation, and meditation in Judaism isn't separate from prayer. You can't separate them. And there's different ways of approaching it, but there are those who suggest that meditative moments are embedded within the prayer and the liturgy as it exists. And there are others, part of what we practice here in our community is to have distinct moments either before or after the prayer experience where we allow ourselves to enter into that space, that contemplative space of silence, to allow and to frame, kind of like an inclusio, where you frame the entry into the word and into music and into sound with the frame of silence. And by doing that, it allows the words of prayer to emerge in a much more powerful way.
A prayerful state of awareness.
When Paul says twice in his letters, pray always, then you know it can't be our later notion of prayer, which is reciting prayers. We Catholics have been notorious for this. I'm not saying anything's wrong with reciting prayers, but foundational prayer is this foundational living in conscious, loving union with God every minute. So now you can pray taking a shower in the morning, you can pray while taking the taxi over here, you can pray in church too, but it doesn't stop when you leave church, do you see? Living in foundational, conscious union every minute of the day. That's prayer. It's a state more than a verbalization. We Catholics used to speak of the morning offering, that whatever I do today, I want to do it in conscious, loving union with God. Now the Spirit will keep touching you throughout the day and telling you, okay, it's time to refresh that conscious intention. See, consciousness, and I'm not trying to sound like some new ager, but consciousness is the ultimate reality, not this physical world. Huh? And what most Christians are, they're still materialists. This is the real world. Huh? And what it means to be a spiritual person is to say, no, this is just a manifestation of spirit. The ultimate reality is the spiritual world. Now, once you recognize that, you learn how to rest there and how to live there.